In my last video, we looked at a 55 and over condo community in Andover. Several people asked, what if I want my own garage, my own front door, and a little more privacy? So today, we're in Coon Rapids, looking at one level attached townhomes. Is this actually a better choice? Let's find out. This video is not a listing tour. It's not about a particular property. It's about a wide range of available properties in Anoka County that are attached and yet feature all one level living. I want to help you decide which housing option fits the next stage of your life. These are for someone who wants one level living. You want less maintenance. You don't want apartment style living. You still want to be able to pull into an attached garage, but you want a little more privacy. Have a yard with grass that you don't have to cut. Maybe vaulted ceilings. On this type of townhouse, you typically come home, pull into an attached garage. You walk directly into the house, sometimes the laundry room, sometimes the kitchen. There could be some variation. You've got a patio to sit on, generally pretty private, sometimes with a nature view, sometimes with the park, sometimes you're looking at your other neighbors. It kind of depends. There's room to walk the dog. There's a lot less exterior maintenance, and you're free to lock and leave and travel. Not quite as free as the condo, but you could just turn the key and leave and not have to worry about too much. Now, that being said, a lot of people think a condo and a townhome are two completely different things, and that's not necessarily true. On yesterday's, yeah, obviously that was a condo. On the ones we're looking at today that are attached, they can be condos, they can be townhomes, and you really can't tell by the structure, by anything else. It all just boils down to the legal description. And for today, we just don't even have to worry about it. Just if it's lot and block, it's a townhome. If the legal description is a CIC number and a unit number, then it's a condo. Makes no real difference. For today's video, I'm less concerned about the legal paperwork and much more interested in how this home fits your lifestyle. I think what you'll love with these compared to the condo is the attached garage instead of the underground parking. There's no common hallways. There's a lot more privacy. It's easier to have pets. You have your own outdoor space. You don't have neighbors passing your door. But there's usually fewer shared amenities, tennis courts, the gazebo, that kind of stuff. There's a lot less social interaction. Most of the time you hardly ever see your neighbors as opposed to having a social calendar in the condos. There's potentially some more exterior maintenance, usually just shoveling a couple of feet of snow away from the doors for the snow removal, but that all depends on the HOA. As I said, there's a lot of variation in this type of property, and they're varying ages, varying models, and the things that I always look for is, are there steps from the garage into the house? Are the door, what width are the doors? How accessible are the hallways? The shower configuration. Do you need a tub? Do you want a walk-in bath? You've got options, and of course those things can change. And does it have its own laundry? How's the garage? And what does the actual exterior look like? Just because you're part of an association, you want to make sure you're not going to get hit with assessments, that kind of stuff in the future. The association's generally in charge of all exterior roofing, siding, that kind of stuff. But we can look at the paperwork, see what the reserves are, how old are these things. Those are things to look at when we're viewing the properties. Because like I said, there's a lot of different ones out there, and a lot of them are run different ways, and they're built different. And just like our last video, let's give this one a lifestyle score. For maintenance, I'm going to call it a 4 out of 5. Because there is some exterior maintenance, like I mentioned earlier, a little bit of snow shoveling just to clear away from things for the snow removal guys. Maybe some other minor things that you want to upkeep. Um, Travel friendly. Again, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. The condo is a 5 out of 5. But the 4 out of 5, you still want to have somebody check on it occasionally just to make sure the furnace, everything's going, especially depending on the age, depending on your neighbors, depending on a number of things. As far as privacy, pri- privacy, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. They're pretty private. You very rarely see your neighbors, and yet they're nearby. They're available. Workshop. Workshop, I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. And yet that can really change because just because we're talking one level townhome, you can have a one level townhome that still has a basement, which would give you, um, the opportunity for a shop. Uh, Social opportunity. I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. There's still a lot of social opportunities. You have a lot of neighbors close by. If you're anywhere that in Anoka County, there's always restaurants, shopping, everything close by. There's very little things that are isolated around here. And aging in place, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 on this one. But again, we're talking a wide variety of different properties that are in Anoka County. Some of these may have been built in the 70s and they're still building them today. And I've seen some that are built for aging in place, and I've seen some that are not so much, especially the older ones, and yet really starting even 25, 30 years ago, there have been some that are really, really designed well. If you like the privacy of this style home but don't love the thought of sharing a wall or two with your neighbor, next we're going to head to Blaine and look at a different one level option and compare the differences.